Hi, my name's Tom Minta. I was the winner of the GASGAS all-expensive trip to Erzberg. I couldn't really believe it, really. It took a few days for it to sink in. As I've just got an enduro bike as well, it was a perfect opportunity for me to go and see what happened, and now I've done it, and it's really good. So for me to get to Carl's Diner, I was really happy to get this far, but also I didn't really know what to expect from the event. Obviously the enduro, it's all new to me, new experience, and I didn't really know how far I should get or how far I shouldn't get, but to be honest, I set my sights to get to Carl's Diner, and this is where I got to, so I was more than happy with this. Yeah, so I was riding my GASGAS EC 300 over in England before I arrived in Erzberg. I was doing as much training as possible, basically just trying to get as much bike time in as possible for the fitness. Obviously from the trials you're not pushing as long for this amount of time, so also the trials bike's a lot lighter than the enduro bike, so I was trying to do as much as I can over here to make more of a go at it in Erzberg. But the bike itself, when I arrived, it felt a pleasure to be able to ride a factory GASGAS EC 300, and for the mechanics to work on it and set it up how I'd like it. It was great for them to be able to do this for me, and you know, as I said, it's something that you'd always dreamed of, getting somebody else to work on your bike and being able to set the bike up how you like it and how you want it. It's something that you could never imagine on. From the minute leaving the UK to getting there it was just crazy. So when we arrived, there's just bikes, people, trucks, everything, and as you come down into the village and look at the great big Iron Mountain, you just pictures, telling people about it, you can't picture how big and how crazy this place is. Atmosphere around the paddock, there's just people everywhere. The beer tents, that's another experience where you can't really tell anybody, you have to be there to see it. It's just mental, crazy people everywhere, and this for me was one of the highlights, going around the town on your bikes, people just crazy, donuts, burnouts, wheelies down the street, something in England that you don't really get to do. The prologue was one of the most eye-opening things for me, and again, I didn't really know how to take it. Lots of people said this was the main thing to be able to get a good result in Erzberg, so it was crazy. So when you're just going down some of the lorry roads, I take it, just flat out every gear pinned, you're not even using your clutch, you just nailing it into every gear possible and braking as short and as late as possible. It's the adrenaline going through you is just off the scale. So for being part of the GASGAS factory racing team for the whole weekend, it was something as a kid you'd always dreamed of. Obviously through trials, GASGAS has been one of the biggest companies that do the trials and the outfits, so you always used to look up at them. And for me now to be able to say that I went to Erzberg and I was under the factory team, the factory tent, I had a factory mechanic throughout the week, it's something as a kid, as I said, that I was really looking forward to, and it really doesn't disappoint. Being able to speak to Taddy throughout the couple of days beforehand gave me some nice tips and advice on how to reserve my energy, because it's something in trials that you've never come across. So he said always remember the energy levels, don't go too crazy to start with, and just always make sure you've got some reserve for the final half an hour to really push on. And I just wanted the flag just to go, but we just had to wait around, and the nerves and the butterflies were going crazy. So I'd say the hardest part was Carl's Diner, for the matter of fact just the energy levels, because it was so hard. You're having to pull your bike out of rocks, pull it in, and for me this was the hardest bit. I think the craziest moment had to be the start. I don't think I will ever do a start like this ever again until I'm back at Erzberg again, because this is just crazy. When you look back at it and you just think, wow, like now sat here and you're looking back, and the amount of people, the dust and the rocks, and it's just something else. It's crazy when you think about it, but when you're down at the start line, you don't really think about any of this. You just think, right, we're here to race and let's go. I think for the trials aspect of things is 100% a good advantage for being able to master some of the technical bits on the track. Obviously, being Erzberg, this is a very trialsy sort of layout of a race, and I can see how it does really help you just from being able to pick your way through Carl's Diner, for instance. You know whereabouts you should line your bike up and which rocks and which is the best line to go. In 2023, I'll 100% be back there at Erzberg racing. For sure, this is going to be one that I'm going to put on the calendar for as many years that I'm riding enduro now. This is something that I'd really love to finish, and so maybe I'll keep going until I finish this wild event. Overall, I would just like to thank GASGAS for being able to give me this amazing opportunity and experience. It's something that I'll never be able to thank you enough for, and I'm hoping that one day that I will be out there racing with you lot all the time throughout the year, and maybe one day we might even be a factory rider. But for now, I'm going to keep my head down, start training, ride as much as possible, and then we'll see where the future ends.